Hello, my name is Blaze Morris. Today, we're going to talk about account safety. First, we'll talk about making strong passwords. Then, we'll talk about password managers. Finally, we'll look at securing accounts using multi-factor authentication, or MFA. Quick, what's something that's on your mind always, but you never really talk about? Interesting. I like the way you dream, kid. Let's make a password out of that. You said you wanted to go to Venice and eat ice cream. Here's what we do. First, we shorten it. Then, we add numbers and symbols in the place of some of the letters. For the letters that remain, we switch up the capitalization, and then we memorize it. You can write it down, but destroy the paper you wrote it on as soon as you've committed it to memory. Congratulations, you have an email password. Now, think of your deepest fear. Please refrain from saying it out loud. You're afraid of tiny bugs living in your face? Cool. Go through the motions again. Wait, it's too short now. You want to make sure your passwords are at least 16 characters long. Add back some letters and do the procedure again. And there you have it. That's the password for our second account we'll be talking about in the next slide. Alright, let's unpack the reasons for every single step of this. First of all, you don't want your password to be a word, rather a phrase. People tend to love using short passwords because they are easy to remember. However, if your password starts off as a phrase that means something to you, you will be able to remember that phrase just as easily as any word. If your password was just a word, it can be guessed much more easily by password cracking tools. A dictionary attack is a type of password attack where passwords are guessed using words in the dictionary. These types of attacks have since evolved to include character substitutions and other common passwords. Their dictionaries have expanded to include incorrect spellings, so to speak. That silly way you spelled Venice earlier, with a 3 and the exclamation mark, might just be in the dictionary of wrong words. You do, however, want to put characters, numbers, and different capitalizations into your password in order to increase the pool of possible passwords and decrease the likelihood of break-ins. Finally, you may want to shorten your password sometimes, because some password fields have a somewhat short upper character limit. That problem seems to be much less common now though, so maybe you don't have to. Given these reasons, there are, of course, other ways you can make a short password if you think it'd be easier for you to remember. Like these, for example. Shorten the phrases by getting rid of words, substitute characters or words with numbers, and replace the spaces with characters. These two passwords should still not be very easy to crack. Guys, I know, I can practically hear you through the screen. I can't do all that for every single one of my passwords. That takes so much time. And forget about memorizing all of them and what password goes to which. That's where a password manager comes to the rescue. A password manager is a tool that keeps all of the passwords for all of your accounts in one place. Think of it as a digital key ring. Your browser probably has one, and you're probably already using it if you're signed into your browser of choice. I use the password manager that comes with Firefox, and in order to access that password manager, I need to log into my Mozilla account. So this is what that second password we created earlier is for. One password is to be used for your primary email, and the second is for your password manager. Oh, real quick. I'm of the opinion that you should not store your primary email's password in your password manager, since you would need your email in order to recover the password manager in the event of a security incident. So here's where it all gets easier. Now that your passwords are on a digital keyring, you don't need to memorize them all, just the ones for your email and password manager. All of your other passwords can be complex and nearly impossible to memorize because you don't need to memorize them at all. Some password managers can even generate these passwords for you. Take them up on that offer. Now I know what you're thinking next. Blaze, you ninny. If you have a password manager that just takes a password, you would literally only need to know one of my passwords in order to access all of my accounts. Isn't that insanely stupid? Like, it'd be as unsafe as making my password to every single website the same exact thing. You're kinda right, and that's why we use more than just a password to secure your password manager. We would use multiple factors to make sure that only you could access it. So, what is a factor? A factor is a category of proof used to gain entry to an account or building. You can prove your authority to access something using either something you know, like a password, something you have, like a badge or phone, or something you are, which would be something like a fingerprint or Face ID. For something to be multi-factor, the authentication process has to involve at least two of these categories. If you used a key card and a fingerprint to enter a building, that's multi-factor, because the first factor is something you have and the second is something you are. However, if you enter the building using a password and a PIN, they may be different from one another, but those are both just something you know, and therefore not multi-factor. You want to use multi-factor as often as you reasonably can, in my opinion. However, I'm going to tell you the times where you absolutely need to, because I know some people have different priorities. You absolutely need to use multi-factor if your account is your primary email, password manager, finance related, or something that has your health records or health records you are responsible for. Financial accounts and health records are already super private information to begin with, and you know why we'd want to keep primary emails and password managers especially safe. It's because both are attached to all of your accounts. Here are the sources I used for this video. Last time I'd used the Security Plus textbook, I got the order of the authors wrong because I was using an automatic works cited tool. You might not think this is a huge error, but I personally think it is, because this book is actually in memory of Daryl Gibson, and his name was first on the cover. For that reason, I apologize. I would also like to thank Daryl Gibson, as he was a co-author of many of the books I've read in order to gain an understanding of cybersecurity. He was a fantastic teacher and a valuable contributor. That's everything I have to say. I hope you all have a great day, and thank you for watching.